The island of Sodor. It has many branch lines and a main line from Knapford to Vickerstown. It is also home to many engines. However, let's take a moment to look back to how some of the engines got where they are now. This is the start of our story. Good morning, everyone. Morning, Edward. Morning to you too, Gordon. Are you pulling the express today? Of course I am, little Edward. Oh, don't get him started. Who else would pull the express? Henry couldn't, and you most certainly can't. Well, yes, I suppose you're right. I'm rather small and can't handle the length of today's passenger trains. However, I'm sure that Henry could. Henry? Ha ha, you are funny, little Edward. Henry can't manage his own trains, let alone the express. I'm positive that Henry could pull the express. Although, I'd love to pull a passenger train again. I remember when I was young and red. I used to pull passenger trains. You? You haven't been let out of the sheds for nearly a month now. The driver won't choose you again. He wants big, strong engines like us. Hello, Edward. Oh, hello, sir. I've noticed you've stayed in the sheds for a while. It can't be nice just sitting here all day. You're right, sir. It's dreadfully dull. I see. Well, would you like to come out today? What? Yes. I'm sure Henry wouldn't mind giving up his local passenger trains for some goods work. I don't care. Right then, that's all sorted. Now let's... But sir, look at him! He's weak, he's old and... Do you know what I see, Gordon? I see an engine. A really useful engine who hasn't been out of the sheds for ages. He deserves a chance to be let out. I also see a big blue engine who's putting him down for no reason whatsoever. Now, let's get you ready, Edward. The driver and fireman got Edward ready. He left the sheds, leaving Gordon seething. He went over to the yards where he saw the coaches he'd be taking. Oh, do be careful, Edward. Don't bump and bang us around like the other engines do. Edward buffered up to the coaches gently and then set off for the station. Get in quickly, please. You're excited, aren't you, old boy? It's been my first time out in ages. Edward waited and waited. However, there was no sign of the guard. Where is that guard? Come on. The driver asked the station master. Have you seen the guard? No. The fireman asked the porter. Have you seen the guard? Yes. Really? Last night. Just then, the guard came into sight. He blew his whistle, and finally the train was clear to leave. In the evening, he returned to the sheds. Ah, what a lovely day. It was so nice to be out after 3 weeks of being in the sheds. Don't get cocky. It was only once. I'm sure you'll be put back in the sheds soon. Actually, I'll be shunting in the yards tomorrow. The yards? Ha ha, that's funny. Don't you know the first thing about being a tender engine? Tender engines don't shunt. Well, I've never heard that rule before. I can tell. Well, I've always shunted my own trains. I've never asked anyone to do it, unless I absolutely needed them to. Well, you're just an improper tender engine then. What do you think, Henry? I don't care. I've had to put up with the trucks all day, and quite frankly, I'm too tired to care about what petty grievance you have. Now, good night. We should all get some sleep. Good night, Gordon. The three engines went to sleep. The next day, Gordon was preparing to leave with the express. You watch me, little Edward, as I rush through with the express. That'll be a fine sight for you. Edward left to go do some shunting. Edward enjoyed shunting trucks, as it meant he could bump them around. He finally finished arranging the train. However, to his surprise, Gordon backed down under the train. A goods train, a goods train! The shame of it, oh, the shame of it! What happened to flashing by with the express, Gordon? Henry's taking it today, for why I don't know. But it seems like you're needed. This is a long goods train. We'll need your strength. As a premier express engine, I shouldn't be demoted to such menial tasks. Goods work is very important, Gordon. It may not be glamorous like passenger work, but it's still important. Goods work? Important? You're deluded, Edward. Anyways, I'd best leave and get this over with. Gordon set off with the goods train. As he thundered along the line, he was deep in thought. That Edward, what does he mean goods work is important? I know for a fact. Gordon! The hill! Oh, Gresley! Gordon tried accelerating, but it was too late. He began to slow down, and he came to a stop on the hill. At Knapford, Edward was filling up on water when the yardmaster walked up to him. Edward? Yes, sir? Gordon is stuck on the hill. He needs a push to get up there. Can you do it? Yes, sir. Right away, sir. Edward left to go push Gordon up the hill. When he arrived, he heard Gordon complaining. Disgraceful! You're not trying! I am trying! The noisy trucks hold an engine back so. Hello there, we've come to help. Pah! No use at all! You wait and see. They brought the train to the bottom of the hill. Alright, I'm ready. No good. Edward began pushing Gordon up the hill. The two engines struggled. I can't do it! I can't do it!
I can do it. I can do it.
Just then the top of the hill came, and Gordon went down the other side. I've done it! I've done it! Gordon rushed down the hill, leaving Edward behind. Edward went into a siding to catch his breath.
I haven't worked that hard in ages.
You a grand old boy. Tell you what, I'll get my paint out tomorrow and give you a fresh coat of paint. How does that sound?
Oh, I'd love that.
Edward filled up on water and returned back to Knapford. He was glad to be let out of the sheds again. He had proven he was still a really useful engine.